continuing with section 1 of chapter 3, looking at linear equations, horizontal and vertical lines. To avoid confusing the equations of horizontal and vertical lines, keep in mind the following. An equation with only the variable x will always intersect the x-axis and thus will be vertical. It has the form of x equals a. An equation with only the variable y always intersects the y-axis and thus will be horizontal. It has the form y equals b. And another way to remember those is by remembering the Hoy and Vux. Or again, H, the H here stands for horizontal. The O really stands for zero slope, and the Y means that the equation of the line is in y equals b format. The Vux part, V, stands for a vertical line. The U means undefined slope, and the X here means that the equation is only going to have an X in it. It's in the form of x equals a. Now let's look at a line that has both x and y. So if typically with the equations that have both x and y, your graph is going to cross the x-axis and the y-axis. To find the x-intercept, you're going to find the x-intercept, you're going to let y equal 0, and we get 3x plus y, and we're going to replace with 0 equals 0, and we get 3x equals 0 when we simplify, and dividing by 3 on both sides, we get x equals 0. So this corresponds to the point when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. So the x-intercept is actually this point that's at the origin. Now remember how to find the y-intercept? To find the y-intercept, you're going to let x equal 0. Now if you take your original equation and replace the x with 0 and simplify, you end up with y equals 0. You end up with the same point. Now in this case, the x-intercept and the y-intercept are the same point because the intercept is through the origin. Now to graph a line, we need to find at least one other point. So to do that, I'm going to pick another value of x. So the other point that I'm going to select is to pick an x. I'm going to choose x equals 1 and then solve the equation for y. I get 3 times 1. I'm replacing the x in the original equation with 1 plus y is equal to 0. When I simplify the equation, I get 3 plus y equals 0, and then by subtracting 3 from both sides, we get y equals -3. So this means that the other point, when x is equal to 1, y is equal to -3. And I'm going to find that point on the graph paper. Now that I have those 2 points, I'm going to connect them with a nice straight line. So your linear equation has an x-intercept and a y-intercept, and oops, so we have our final linear equation. The x and the y-intercept are both at the origin, so in order to graph the line, you need to find one other point. And that other point we found by letting x equals 1 solve the equation for y to get y equals -3. Alright, so now that we've finished section 3.1 with the videos, go through and work through the homework assignments on my math lab. Be sure to ask for help and use all the help features and let your professor know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.